Hi there. My name is Cindy Stanford, and the one thing I want you to take away before I tell you my story and my formula is action is overthinking's enemy. Action is overthinking's enemy. I wanted this conversation or this talk about my story when I talked to Coach Love, and I said that I will never forget that in September of 2020, I was on my knees and I had to figure out, how do I keep ending up here? And for those of y'all that will follow the work of ACEs Matter, which is a nonprofit that I founded here in Florida, you will learn a little bit more about my story. But the gist of it is I just kept having hardships. I'd done a lot of work, and hardships just kept following me. It was like a shadow, and it wasn't making sense to me. And I remember a day in September of 2020 that I finally broke down, and I remember being in the shower and I just broke down and I said, God, please reveal me to me. Reveal me to me. What is it that I'm not seeing? And how is it that I keep ending up back in the same place when I'm working so hard to bury that person that I no longer wanted to be? So when I say be careful what you ask for, I realized at that moment it was that one prayer. The moment I changed what I was asking God for is the moment I started to see a difference in what I was receiving. And when I tell y'all that when God responded, which was right inside of me, everything about my world and my understanding started to open up. I had a better understanding of why that person that I no longer wanted to be kept coming back. And as a result, it led me to finding ACEs Matter. And so here's my undebatable statement that I feel like every person should know as they go on their journey trying to figure out their story. Every single person in the world, no matter what your culture, no matter what your background, for me, this is what has helped me understand, is that we all, every single adult, every single human being, we all behave based on our programming from our childhood. We all behave that way. Our programming from our childhood will influence how we respond, whether it's subconsciously or consciously, in every area of our life, from our finances to our relationships with ourselves, to our relationships with our partners, to our relationships with our coworkers, to our relationships with our kids, to our relationships with money, etc., etc., etc. And when I asked God this question to reveal myself to me, all of a sudden it felt like a hurricane had just come through. And at one point, I kid you not, I had to joke and I said, God, I know I asked for that, but hold on, slow down. Can I take a day off? It was like information and awareness just started slapping me in the face like Cat Williams with baby powder in his hand. Like, that's how serious it was. And my big aha moment, when I understood that every single adult, whether subconsciously or consciously, will behave based on their programming in childhood, that was the answer that God had given me, which led to me starting ACEs Matter. And as a result, I understood randomly what the real 3G means in like spiritual mind, body, self work. And the 3G connection that came as a result of me asking that prayer was that God showed me what 3G meant by saying, Cindy, here are your gifts. And here is how I would like you to use them while the fleshly part of you is on earth. God revealed to me, here are your growths. That's the second G. Here are the things that I'm not going to answer for you right now, but I'm going to continue to give you wisdom and awareness. And hopefully as a result, you develop discernment so that you can start growing in those areas. And then the last thing that came as a result of that is that I started to understand exactly who God was, and that the solution was me. The solution was me. I didn't have to stay in this place of where I'm looking for somebody to blame why I'm here where I am and all this work that I've done. And I realized that the flesh is one job. The flesh is one job. The flesh, F-L-E-S-H, the flesh. While we're here on earth, it has one job. and that is to maintain its balance, its safety. And once I figured out how to get my body back to safety, that was one of the ways God revealed me to me. My body wanted to be safe. And I had to figure out what safe meant for my body so that I knew how to respond when the old me was trying to creep back up, the version of me that I no longer wanted to be. And the last thing that I'm going to say in terms of just my story is that when you don't heal from your childhood adversities, and I'm using big words here, meaning just dysfunction, like your childhood program will dictate how you respond in relationships. So if relationships with money, people, or work is a problem, you got to go back to your childhood. If there are physical ailments in your body, you got to go back to childhood, because remember, the flesh's only job is to maintain balance and to feel safe. And if our bodies are getting sick as a result, our body is responding to something that it disagrees with. But all that to say is, if we don't heal from our childhood, our body will always be in charge of us, and our body will dictate how much it can do in any given day. But when we do heal from our childhoods, and I'll close here, we then become in charge of our bodies, even when our bodies don't feel safe. Because our body doesn't get to see and understand the outside world. All our body knows is the inside world. And understanding how our childhoods influence fear ultimately will dictate how we navigate when we're afraid to take steps in life, to take different steps with our financial health, with our emotional health, with our spiritual health. So all that to say, I love what I do. Take care of your body, listen to it, because your body will tell you what needs to heal in order to get it back to a safe place of balance, mind, body, soul. Thank you for having me, Coach Love.
Thank you for coming, Cindy.
Thank you for having me, Coach Love.
Thank you for coming, Cindy. You're wonderful, darling.
Bye-bye for now.